Stop scrolling for a moment, because hidden inside old coin collections across America could be a piece of history that many people overlook. The legendary Buffalo nickel is one of the most iconic coins ever made in the United States, featuring the powerful image of a Native American on one side and the American buffalo on the other. But here's the mystery. Not every Buffalo nickel is the same. Some have rare dates, special mint marks, unusual details, and conditions that make collectors search for them for decades. In today's video, we are going to explore 3 Buffalo nickels that could surprise collectors, uncover what makes these coins special, and reveal the details you should always check before you spend or sell an old nickel. Stay until the end, because the final coin has a story that every coin hunter should know. For accuracy, a 1,925 Buffalo nickel with no mint mark was made at Philadelphia. Value depends heavily on condition and rarity features. Coin number 1. Imagine finding an old nickel hidden inside a forgotten collection. A small piece of metal that has traveled through generations, survived decades of change, and carries a story from nearly a century ago. This is the story of the 1,925 Buffalo nickel, a coin that represents the spirit, culture, and history of early 20th century America. When this coin first entered circulation, America was going through a period of transformation. The 1,920s were known as the Roaring Twenties, a time of economic growth, new inventions, and changing lifestyles. While people were busy building a modern America, millions of these nickels were quietly passing from hand to hand, buying everyday items and becoming part of ordinary life. But today, collectors look at the Buffalo nickel very differently. They don't just see 5 cents. They see a historical artifact. The Buffalo nickel was designed by the famous sculptor James Earl Fraser and was introduced in 1913. Fraser wanted the coin to represent the true American identity. Instead of creating a simple portrait, he combined elements inspired by Native American culture and the powerful American buffalo. On the front side, the coin shows the portrait of a Native American. The design was created using inspiration from several Native American individuals. On the reverse side, it features an American buffalo standing proudly, a symbol of strength in the untamed landscapes of America. The coin was made from a copper-nickel alloy and had a simple but impressive design. It weighed about 5 grams and measured about 21 millimeters across. These details may seem small, but they helped create one of the most recognizable American coins ever produced. Now let's talk about what makes the 1,925 Buffalo nickel interesting. One important detail collectors always check is the mint mark. The 1,925 Buffalo nickel with no mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Collectors also examine the coin's condition, surface appearance, and any unusual features. Your coin description mentions a light black layer. This is known as toning or surface coloration. Natural toning can sometimes add beauty and collector interest, especially when it develops over many years. But the biggest factor in a coin's value is its overall condition. A heavily worn coin and a professionally graded high-quality coin can have a huge difference in price. A coin that survived nearly 100 years with strong details, attractive appearance, and certified quality can attract serious collectors. In rare cases, exceptional examples can reach much higher prices at auctions. For a special example, collectors may discuss values in the $18,000, $19,000 range, but this would require outstanding rarity, certification, and strong collector demand. Most 1,925 Buffalo nickels are worth much less and should be evaluated carefully. So before you ignore an old Buffalo nickel sitting in a drawer, take a closer look. Check the date, the mint mark, the details of the design, and the condition. Because sometimes the real treasure is not just the metal in your hand, it is the history behind it. The 1,925 Buffalo nickel is more than a 5-cent coin. It is a small piece of America's past, a survivor from another era, and a reminder that every old coin may have a story waiting to be discovered. Coin number 2. Imagine holding a small 5-cent coin that has survived more than a century. A coin that passed through the hands of people during the early days of American expansion, world-changing events, and generations of collectors. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary old nickel, but hidden on this small piece of metal is a story from America's past, the story of the legendary 1,915D Buffalo nickel. For collectors, some coins are valuable because of their age. Others become special because of their history rarity, and the condition they survived in. The buffalo nickel is one of those coins that continues to capture the imagination of collectors around the world. The year was 1915. America was entering a new era. Cars were becoming more common, cities were growing, and technology was changing everyday life. But in the middle of all this change, people were still using coins for daily purchases. A 5-cent buffalo nickel could buy small items, travel through countless hands, and become part of ordinary American life. Thousands of these coins were produced, but after more than 100 years, many have disappeared, worn down, or lost their original details. This is what makes surviving examples interesting to collectors. The buffalo nickel was introduced in 1913 and created by the famous American sculptor James Earl Fraser. Fraser wanted this coin to represent the spirit of America. He created a design that connected the nation's history with its natural landscapes. The front of the coin features the powerful portrait of a Native American, while the back shows an American buffalo standing proudly. This design was not just decoration, it was a symbol of strength, heritage, and the American frontier. The buffalo nickel was made from a copper and nickel alloy. Weight at about 5 grams. Diameter about 21 millimeters. Obverse, Native American portrait. Reverse, American buffalo design. One of the most important details for collectors is the mint mark. The small D mint mark tells us this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. The 1915D buffalo nickel attracts collectors because Denver Mint issues from this series are often searched for by enthusiasts. Collectors carefully study the clarity of the date, the strength of the design details, the condition of the surfaces, any unusual characteristics. Your described coin has an old appearance and a D mint mark, which are details collectors pay attention to. An old coin with strong original features can become much more interesting than a heavily worn example. When collectors examine a coin that is over a century old, condition becomes one of the biggest factors. A coin that spent decades in circulation may show wear, while another example protected from damage may preserve sharper details. Professional grading companies examine coins and give them a certified grade. This certification helps collectors understand the quality and rarity of an example. A highly preserved 1915D buffalo nickel with exceptional eye appeal can attract serious attention from collectors. The value of a 1915D buffalo nickel depends greatly on its actual condition and certification. Most circulated examples trade at much lower prices, but exceptional certified examples with strong details and collector demand can reach into the thousands of dollars. In rare cases, top quality examples may be discussed in the $12,000, $23,000 range or higher, depending on auction results and rarity factors. That is why collectors never judge an old coin only by its age. They look deeper into its story. Coin number 3. At first glance, the 1916 buffalo nickel may look like just an old 5-cent coin. But behind its worn surface is a story of American history, craftsmanship, and the collectors who continue searching for these legendary coins. What makes this coin interesting is not just its age, it is the combination of its design, survival, condition, and the mystery that surrounds every old coin. The year 1916 was a remarkable period in American history. The country was changing rapidly. New technologies were appearing, cities were expanding, and everyday life was moving into a modern age. During this time, the buffalo nickel was being used across America. People carried these coins in their pockets, used them for daily purchases, and passed them from one person to another. Most coins from this era were eventually lost, damaged, or heavily worn. But the ones that survived with attractive details became interesting pieces for collectors. The 1916 buffalo nickel is one of those coins that connects us directly to that forgotten era. The buffalo nickel was introduced in 1913 and designed by famous sculptor James Earl Fraser. Fraser wanted to create a coin that represented the true spirit of America. Instead of a simple design, he created a powerful image filled with history. On the front side, the coin displays a Native American portrait, representing the heritage and people connected with America's past. On the reverse side, it shows an American buffalo, a symbol of strength, freedom, and the vast landscapes of the nation. The value of an old coin is determined by many factors. A regular circulated 1916 buffalo nickel may have a much lower value but an exceptional example with outstanding preservation, rare characteristics, and professional certification can become highly desirable. The important lesson is this: the story behind the coin and its condition decide its true value. For a truly special, certified example, collectors may discuss values that reach very high levels. In rare cases, can approach figures such as $21,000, $21,500, depending on rarity, grade, and market demand. If you ever find an old buffalo nickel, avoid cleaning it. Cleaning can damage the original surface and reduce collector interest. Instead, handle it carefully. Check the date and details. Protect it from scratches. Get it professionally evaluated if it appears unusual. The 1916 buffalo nickel is more than a 5-cent piece. It is a survivor from a different America, a small piece of history that traveled through time. Every mark, every detail, and every layer on its surface tells a story. And that is why collectors continue searching for these coins today, because sometimes a forgotten coin in an old collection can become a doorway into the past.